I almost called the police the first night the doorbell camera caught her standing in our yard, just looking up at the window. I'm 49. I manage a regional bank branch outside Charlotte, and up until that spring, the strangest thing in my life was a customer who tried to deposit a check made out to his cat. Then we moved into a house in a new development called Birchwood Hollow. Half-built homes still going up 2 streets over, and normal stopped applying to us. The woman showed up on our Ring camera the second week. Older, maybe 70s, cardigan, just standing at the edge of the driveway at 9:40 in the evening, perfectly still, staring up at our bedroom window for almost 4 minutes before walking off toward the cul-de-sac. My husband Greg figured she was lost, maybe early dementia, wandered off from one of the houses nearby. We didn't think much of it. People forget which house is there sometimes. It happens. She came back the next night. Same spot, same 4 minutes. This time she didn't just look up. She said something. The camera audio was muffled, but I played it back 6 times before I made it out. You painted over the porch swing hooks. We didn't have porch swing hooks. Our porch ceiling was bare. Greg climbed up there with a flashlight that weekend, more to humor me than anything, under 3 coats of builder-grade white paint. Right where she'd been looking, there were 2 patched screw holes, exactly swing hook spacing, sanded down but never fully hidden. I started asking around the neighborhood. Most people were friendly enough, but the second I mentioned the woman, conversations got short. One neighbor, a guy named Frank, who'd lived on the street the longest, told me flatly that the whole development used to be a single property, one big farmhouse and 12 acres, before a developer bought it out and carved it into 40 lots almost 6 years ago. He said the original house got demolished. He said it like he wanted the subject closed. I looked up the county plat records that weekend, the way you do when something itches at you and won't stop. The farmhouse had stood almost exactly where our house now sat, give or take. Same orientation, same approximate footprint. The woman came back a 3rd time. This time Greg went outside to talk to her directly. He said she looked at him like he was the one who didn't belong there, and asked, very politely, where her husband Walter had put the mailbox key. Then she asked if the well still worked. We don't have a well. We have city water. Greg walked her home that night, 2 streets over, to a small ranch house where her daughter answered the door looking exhausted in a way that told us this wasn't new. The daughter apologized over and over, said her mother had lived on this land her whole life before the farmhouse was torn down, said the move into assisted living the year before had been hard on her, said some nights she just walked, chasing a house that technically didn't exist anymore, but apparently still did, somewhere in her mind. I felt terrible. I also felt, for the first time since we'd moved in, like the strange parts of our new life had a tidy explanation, and I let myself relax. Then the package arrived. It came addressed to Walter. No last name, at our address, postmarked from a hardware store 2 towns over. Inside was a single brass mailbox key and a receipt, dated 4 days earlier, paid in cash. The daughter swore up and down her mother hadn't left the facility in over a month. Security logs at the assisted living place backed her up completely. There was no way the old woman had ordered it, walked to a hardware store, or mailed anything to anyone. We never figured out who sent it. The hardware store's camera footage from that day had a gap, conveniently, right around the time of purchase, which the manager blamed on a system update. The old woman passed away in her sleep about 2 months later. Her daughter mentioned it to us almost in passing at the mailbox, said it gently, said her mother had been at peace. The doorbell camera hasn't picked up anyone standing in the yard since then. Mostly, we're grateful for that. Except 2 weeks ago, Greg went up into the attic chasing a draft we couldn't locate and found tucked behind the insulation near the chimney chase. A second brass key, identical to the one in that package, wrapped in a handkerchief that still smelled faintly of cedar and motor oil. We haven't told the daughter. We haven't tried the key in anything either. There's no lock in our entire house it could possibly fit. We just don't know where else to put it.